right, welcome back. You're still watching Kenya's Choice, and I wanted to take you through the oath or solemn affirmation of allegiance of the president or deputy president, and also the oath or solemn affirmation of the execution of the office for the president or acting president, and of course what will be the oath or solemn affirmation of due execution of office for the deputy president. These are the oaths or the affirmations that President-elect William Ruto and Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua will be making tomorrow. If we can get that on screen so that we look at it. And I want to begin with the first one, which is the oath or solemn affirmation of allegiance of the president, which is also the same that would be taken by an acting president or the deputy president. And it begins by saying that I, of course, I will not say my name because I'm none of those. In full realization of the high calling I assume as president or acting president or deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of Kenya as by law established and all other laws of the Republic, and that I will protect and uphold the sovereignty, integrity, and dignity of the people of Kenya. If it's an oath, that is, while lifting the Bible, they'll end by saying, "So help me God." If it is solemn affirmation, they may just raise their hand without having to say, "So help me God." Then the next one, that is the oath or solemn affirmation of due execution of office of the president. So this is very unique from that of the deputy president. So I, the name there, I swear or affirm that I will truly and diligently serve the people of the Republic of Kenya in the office of the president of the Republic of Kenya, that I will diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions in the office of President of the Republic of Kenya, and I will do justice in all in accordance with this Constitution and by law established and the laws of Kenya, without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. In case it's an oath, then they end by saying, "So help me God." And for the deputy president, this is what Rigathi Gachagua will say. It is either an oath or solemn affirmation that I do swear or solemnly affirm that I will always truly and diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, that I will diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions in the said office to the best of my judgment, that I will at all times, when so required, faithfully and truly give my counsel and advice to the President of the Republic of Kenya, that I will do justice to all without fear, favor, affection, or ill will, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal such matters as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties, and committed to my secrecy. In case it's an oath, then you say, "So help me God." And Senator, because you're also an advocate, I just want to go through these three very important paragraphs for those two gentlemen they have to take tomorrow. In your opinion, what do they mean? Last week, you just took your oath of office as a senator and as member of National Assembly. What do they mean to you as a person, and what will they mean to William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua as they utter those words to the nation?
You see, first of all, this is an oath you take before the people of Kenya and before God. And again, also, you swear to uphold the Constitution of Kenya. And then you swear to be, or affirm, to be, fair to all Kenyans and discharge your duties without ill will. Because you see, people of power are likely to abuse it. It's an oath which you can keep or refuse to keep, and the people will hold you accountable to that particular oath and God. So it's a practice, which has been done over the years. It's a process. You saw it, the governors do it, you saw National Assembly, you saw Senate do it. It's part of that tying you to the people and to God and to the Constitution. And I think it keeps a lot of people who take this oath, forget about it immediately, and just go on their duties, forgetting that you swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of Kenya, and especially when it comes to doing justice to the people you are leading or you are serving. You see, we are no longer ruling people, but you are serving. It's actually a service. And while executing, you know, you've been given the mandate and the budget, you know, so many things. Kenyans have put their money together through their taxes. They want that managed fairly. That's why it comes to what we have now as a country. We have a majority. You have a government, a presidential system which recognizes a majority and a minority. This majority is in parliament. This minority is in parliament. It is also with the people. The election was closely contested, 50-50. Then remember what used to happen in the old days. If you did not support the government of the day, then you don't get any services at all. I believe when President and Deputy get sworn in tomorrow, they have to serve every Kenyan, whether they voted for them or not, whether it's an opposition zone or not. And you know, this is just regions and tribes and things like that. So I believe no region should suffer because allegedly it did not support, or from the numbers, it did not support the current president. So I believe whoever becomes president tomorrow should be able to serve the whole country. And I think this is the purpose of the import of this particular oath, so that you don't give ill will to any people who did not support you. And that's what brings us almost to another one-party state. What will you have called the handshake? It was almost a one-party state thing. There was no opposition in the House. We have now, we are hearing the president-elect say, if you are in opposition, stay in opposition. If you have formed government, I don't want people crossing this way. I want the ones who have voted for me to support me. And I think there should be freedom for anyone to change their mind whatever time they want to change their mind. Those supporting the president may change their mind and support everybody else. Those who were not on board may change their mind and go on board. And I believe there should be fairness to every Kenyan. No region should be denied development because they did not vote for the president. Everybody should be served. And no region should also deny access to that particular person. You know, the situation now is very different from what we had in 2017. Without the handshake, President Uhuru Kenyatta would never have visited some parts of the country. He would have received such bad reception, but he was smart enough and wise enough to do the handshake and bring the country together. It is a duty of the president to bring the country together. That's the first duty President William Ruto, when he's on tomorrow, will have to do. Bring the country together, serve everybody equally without ill will. And I really want us to underline the word ill will.
Ill will. Because you raised an important matter that I'll be following up shortly, and that is on the politics of the reality of politics versus what is ideal. But before then, you look at these three oaths that I've taken. I'm feeling shy to call them paragraphs because they're too long. But you realize that the oath or solemn affirmation of allegiance is the same for the president and the deputy. But when it comes to execution of office, then for the president it is unique in as far as it is about service and doing justice to all. Then for the deputy president is especially giving counsel to the president. For you, Honorable Elachi, when you look at those oaths, what should they mean in the next 5 years' term, knowing what we've been through the past 10 years or so?
Well, for me, let me start now for the last 10 years and just say this, and it is my prayer to government that what we have gone through in the last 10 years should never happen in the next 5 years. That when you have your own intra-conflicts, you spread it to others and they become pawns. And they're used like pawns to safeguard each person's interest, and you make people to have hatred that they don't even understand. Why do we hate each other? Why are we fighting? What is the issue? And until we've ended in the same. And I just want to say, I pray tomorrow, even when we were taking our oath, I think when you hold the Bible, and thank God, President-elect and the deputy are people who believe in the Bible, who trust the Bible, who know what the Bible says. Mm-hmm. And so when you hold it, regardless of all of us Kenyans, can you just do it for God? That God that you believe in, that God that we trust, that God that we have faith in, can you for once have that inner soul that tells you you have hold the Bible, uphold that Bible as you protect the Constitution, as you forgive others, because they are all Kenyans. And I think a good country is where people give you different ideologies. And you will learn from those ideologies that if I do a hybrid of both ideologies, the country will move. But then if we are here and we want to start again a journey where again we are still in anger, in vengeance, I don't think we are going to move this country. We are going to go back again and start counting 2013 to 2017, which is not right for this country. 2017, 2022. I am praying, and I believe the First Lady is a prayerful person. Everyone there. We don't want to see what we have seen. When you have your own issues, is there where you can sit without bringing it out now to your supporters, to other leaders who support you, to make them now, you have to die with you or die with this one? I don't think I want to be in such things again. And I don't think any Kenyan would wish to go back. And the best to do that is when the president, even though you will not be meeting people, but when you hear people murmur something, people saying something, listen. Listen to that voice, because that is where things went wrong. People were being subjected to very harsh trade laws. They would try and say, honestly, we need help here. SMEs, we need help here. With all the challenges that we went through. But when you have people surrounding you and they feel they are the ones who decide, because they know you're so busy, you're somewhere, by the time people get you, things are already gone, and they're in interest of doing the same business. You see, the problem we face is when you are leading people, but you have interest of doing business again. Then do business, knowing very well we have others who have been doing the business, and they need to do the business so that they boost your economy and they boost your revenue. And so I pray today, Sam, that by tomorrow, if we have wronged, even me, I know in the campaigns we have said many things, because of anger, because even us, if you ask me in an honest way, I will tell you, by the time I had all my issues in Nairobi County, really, I would look at this side, you are not supported. You look at this side, in fact, one will tell you, that woman should be out of city. Who told her to come? And then you're wondering, so which government is this are we in? And that is why we move on, and you move where you'll find people.
I said that.
I don't need to say. Today we are saying we are forgiving. We are moving.
But I think before you forgive, you need to be open.
Well, I was open to my God, and I said, Father, and if Father has moved me from this and has given me an opportunity, do I really need to say? No, I just need to forgive. But I just need to say it is important. All these politicians, even if you ask Senator, it is not the wish that he will go into a negative with another leader because of anything else. It's because of maybe deceit, because of you have been used, you have been done, and when they finish, you are thrown like garbage, and you are garbage in, garbage out, and they move on. No.
Okay.
No.
I hear you.
Let me just finish now, lastly.
Yes.
Even as we say this, and I moved and I went into government, I want to say this. It is time we protect the civil servants. It is time we give them dignity and respect, because all the papers CSS reads, there is a person, a technical person who has prepared for you those papers. It is time you recognize a few of these people who have done so much great work quietly, but they have nobody even to just bring them up front and say, I want to tell you, Your Excellency, thank you for this team for ensuring I have moved steps. What I will do, I will come some and I'll start saying, Your Excellency, and you forget there were a team.
A whole team working behind you.
And that is what has killed the spirit of civil servants in delivering services to Kenyans. And also dividing them in their tribal lines when they have no agenda to be in tribal lines. But you find someone has been employed 5 years, you are coming and becoming a boss of someone who has been in service for 20 years. That one should stop, and I hope the new administration is going to look at merit and relook at all those things that have been done wrong and reorganize the civil servants.
I hear you, and it's important to state here that we had invited Senator Boni Khalwale, who had confirmed that he will be attending this conversation from 6:30 a.m. We've waited till now. He's not yet here. If he's able to make it, then he'll still be joining us on the show. But the conversation continues. And Senator Manzo, you said something about ill will, but I want to backtrack a little bit and focus on, you said that people are free to make their decision on if they want to shift allegiance. I bet you're talking about people elected through an arrangement of Kenya Kwanza, others under Azimio la Umoja. People have now been shifting allegiance, well, majority of them moving from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. I've not seen anyone moving from Kenya Kwanza to Azimio. But when that happens, knowing that people have specific responsibilities, William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua have been elected from the executive. Members of Parliament, that is senators and members of the National Assembly, have been elected to be in the legislature. For the judiciary, of course, it's clear what they are doing. So when people are shifting to, say, Kenya Kwanza, what is the guiding principle here? What are they going there to do?
Well, you know, the majority in the House is constituted by the political parties arrangement and the registrar of political parties. You find the majority in National Assembly Azimio, and therefore automatically should become the majority. And then when you go to Senate, it was 50-50 up to now, because now we have one senator to be elected from Bungoma. If that senator was to be Azimio, then means Azimio becomes majority. If that senator was to be from the other side, then it becomes majority. But the point I'm trying to make is that Kenyans should not be, you know, they should have the freedom as is provided in the Constitution. And in the Constitution, Kenyans are supreme. They are the ones who come first before the leaders. They are the ones who make the decision. The point I was trying to make on that is that when you come and the way the president-elect said, that if you are in opposition, stay in opposition. It's like that ill will quote in the oath. You already show ill will even before you begin the job.
But how so? I think he's saying what is obvious. If you are in the opposition, if you're in the minority, stay in the minority. If you're in the majority, stay in the majority. The
whole purpose is to check government.
Yes.
But again, you need to see the wisdom of President Uhuru Kenyatta of the handshake. We are not saying that there should be handshake. The handshake was done awaiting amendment of the Constitution to come up with a more accommodative government. And I'm saying even without a constitutional amendment, the President-elect should be accommodative to all Kenyans. The fact that I don't belong to his government, I am in the minority in Makueni. For example, now Thwake Dam is no longer funded. Konza City is no longer funded. It doesn't mean when we are doing the funding now of the next financial year, you abandon these projects because they are in an opposition or minority area. I remember 2013 when we were starting Thwake Dam, President Uhuru Kenyatta was specific that we are doing these two projects, to Konza City And the Thwake Dam will give the water to Konza cities so that they can succeed and expand. They are for Kenyans. They are for everybody. They didn't come with the attitude of, now this, since it is in a opposition area, we are stopping the project. That used to happen a long time ago. That if a road was being constructed and that particular region did not support whoever is the president from the records of the election, then they will be abandoned. So what I was encouraging is the president-elect now not to revisit that ill will on projects or on people who are not with him, because it's not everybody who's going to join him. The UDM or...
That's what I'm asking. When people are shifting from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza, what exactly is the motive, if you know?
There's this notion that we want to be in government. And many Kenyans should know that under the current constitution, everybody is in government.
Yeah.
You have majority government and minority government. Everybody in National Assembly should check the government.
Yeah.
But the majority now have assumed we are also executive. We are not supposed to check the executive. Everybody has assumed, oh, we are all in government. So everybody want to run and say they're in government. Whether you are in minority or majority, you are in government. Whether you are in opposition, although it's not the right word to use under the current constitution,
yeah.
There's no opposition under the current constitution. Everybody elected is supposed to check the government in office. But we have this practice which is unmanaged even by law or by constitution or by oaths, as you have seen, that everybody now shifts and goes to where government is so that they can get handouts, they can get favors of development. Everybody deserves development in the country. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's as in if a road is being done at your region simply because you have changed allegiance, you have left minority and joined majority, which you never voted for. Of course, there is a 3-month period. After 3 months, then those agreements can be broken. The question is also, are these agreements constitutional? Because whatever we amended...
There is so many issues in one sentence. But Honorable Elachi, so look, you said something very interesting about you hope the next 5 years will not be like the past 10 years, that almost 10 years anyway. But do you think there is any place, because these institutions, the three arms of government, are supposed to oversight each other, especially Parliament oversighting the executive and the judiciary oversighting the excesses of each, and of course the financing of the judiciary. Well, there's a judiciary fund, but it's processed through Parliament and in some form through the National Treasury. But is it even, excuse me, possible for Parliament to play a role in dealing with a conflict that, like what was between President Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto?
You see, Parliament can deal with such conflict if Parliament is not consumed with the same conflict. But you see now, because Parliament was part of the same process, when the conflicts came in, those who felt the president has done wrong went to president-elect, and those who remained. For some of us, we remained with one reason, that, and as I say, I can never joke with the Bible. And this is the man who swore on the Bible. And I respected my president because he swore on the Bible. And I said, I will never abuse. I can contradict, I can bring in issues, but I can't abuse him until he leaves. And it's the same. You know, people are waiting, we are going to abuse. No, but no, we are not. The president, the moment you assume office, the first thing we have to do, and which we will do, and which I will do, is to pray for the president so that Kenya can move to transformation that we believe in, so that Kenya can have what we call a spirit of peace. When there's a spirit of peace in a country, even if we have many challenges, a country is able to uphold and move together. The moment you have no peace in a country, then you are ready to see every challenge that is said in the Bible happen in this country. Now, that is why I'm saying, as they move in office, critique we will. Oh yes, when we feel, when things are not going right, we will say things are not going right. We will uphold what we took that same oath and say, this is not right. But then, we will not wake up and today start abusing. And even if in their side they start abusing, I will stop them. No, it's the president. We agreed, we voted, those who won have taken. You must respect it. And so that's why I'm saying, I am hoping in these 5 years, again, we will not find a group that has just decided now we are disgruntled, now the appointments are not ours, now I don't know what, and you bring it to us that you want now an agenda to run with in abusing again. No, not in Kenya. I think one of the things Kenyans have also come, and it's something we have to really be very careful as we move on as a country, is that I think we are thinking, Kenyans, they have voted, they have finished. But you are forgetting, they are all Kenyans. They woke up to vote based on what they believe in. If I believed in the ideology that this is what I want, that does not mean I'm your enemy. Because do you want to tell me we want a country where we have no competition then? Because Kenyans must also decide. Is it time we say now that we don't want competition of this presidency, we leave it for 10 years, you finish your term, you go? Because it's like that is what people are saying in a very quiet voice, and they are not able to come boldly and just say, look, because when you say this one is bad, this Kenyan is a bad one because he voted Azimio, this one is a bad one because he voted UDA. Really, what you are trying to say, you want a country where you don't have strong competition. But then, you are forgetting that strong competition starts from the ward. So why would the president not have a strong competition of people to see? You can have different sides. Whoever wins, you come and pick. Because it is now you. And God has given you that mantle, isn't it? Pick up both sides and look at what they were saying. There's nothing so much different. So when you bring them together, they will work for the betterment of the country. So this thing of people waking up and saying, you have opposition, then change this constitution and take us back to this opposition. Because we are in committees. Senator will be in a committee, it will be the agenda of government, isn't it? If you support it in the committee, you mean you have supported it for the betterment of Kenya. And so you haven't opposed anything. If you feel you need to oppose, just do a minority report and table your report and say, I disagreed with 1, 2, 3. But most of the time, because everything is done in committees, in Parliament, it means you will be still supporting the same government. So why would that government deny Makueni County to see Konza moving? Because it's a national project anyway. It is just situated in Makueni County. If we go that direction of denying counties, Mombasa where? So why are you coming to the port? It's in Mombasa. Why do you want the port? You should ask yourself that question. Do you want the people of Mombasa to start saying, this is our port, these are our waters? And Makueni will say, this is our quarry. Is that what we want? I don't think we want that. Or, by the time I'm passing going to Kisumu, I have been passing, I know we have many of our women SMEs who are there selling their things on the road. So do I just drive and leave? I stop there, I buy, and not just me, many others, to empower each other. So us as leaders, can we stop putting Kenya into a conflict that they don't have? Can we agree when we have finished what we have finished, come and stay as one country? It's like we are about to make Kenya a place where, I'll tell you the things of your county, eat, buy, stay with them. Don't bring to our county. Now where are we headed?
Okay, I hear you. And Senator Manzo,
yes.
Because I over the weekend I heard Governor of Machakos say something fascinating, that she has to work with the government because the government is, the national government is controlling 85% of the resources, and that only 15% is coming to to the counties, well, whether that is factual or not, it gets you thinking, because this is a governor who's been elected to form a government of Machakos County, but now wants to work with the government. Yet the resources the governors are implementing are resources that have been appropriated by Parliament through the National Assembly, but also there's a role of the Senate in ensuring the passage of the Division of Revenue Bill and also the County Allocation of Revenue Act, that is CARA. So how do you make sure that Parliament, the 13th Parliament, which is the third one in implementing the 2010 Constitution, is alive to their responsibility, which is basically about oversighting legislation, protecting the counties if it's the Senate? There's nothing that you see there about moving to the government as a role of Parliament.
Yes, you see, Parliament is supposed to check government in power, and more so minority out of the practice. You see, the theory in the Constitution is not what is being practiced in government. We are still practicing the old Constitution of the days of Kano. And that's why that thinking, and this is why we are persuading people to abandon that thinking. I may serve the country better while in minority if I check the government and thoroughly scrutinize the government and keep the people who elected me and all Kenyans knowing what the government is doing, then I will serve. But when you go to the governors have their own government, which will be funded by the national government. And unless the ill will is applied, the governor of Machakos will still get their share of budget. It should not be delayed because she's in Azimio or was elected in Azimio. It should be, and you find somebody else in the Rift Valley or in central Kenya who is a governor, has already gotten their share of revenue, and yet Machakos or Makueni doesn't have. Whoever is at Treasury must make sure that all governors have their monies in good time so that they can serve the people. Because you see, she cannot oppose the government. She's not on the floor of the House. But she can talk of the ill things. If she sees ill will with the main government, she can see, as an elected leader, the Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, can still also check the government in publicly and say, look, we don't have our share. Why don't we have it now? But if you just go and cooperate and do everything as the government says, that's the time they will not even serve you. Because you have complied, you are compliant, so complacent. So why they will delay as they will. And I believe if the new government be formed, is to be run very effectively. We still have a very good constitution. I believe the people of Kenya will be served well by this constitution. However, this constitution needs to be improved in future so that it can serve people better. For example, the issue of CDF now was in BBI. It has not been implemented. Now the courts have caught up with us, and they are saying there is no CDF, which was most effective and served the people at the grassroots level and complemented devolution, what was happening at the counties. So I believe even the constituency is the unity of devolution. In a way, there is activity going on there, which is also a national government activity. And that's why, in my thinking, the government should be checked properly and scrutinized thoroughly so that it serves the people. But I really want to insist on ill will. There's a reason that word has been used in the oath.
Right.
We must really check that there is no ill will. And if there is ill will on part of the president or deputy or ministers or parliament or the people of Kenya, then it should be highlighted you know, the leaders speak about it so that that particular ill will is not practiced. That's why it is in the oath. Otherwise, the oath should have assumed everything is very good and the president is perfect, he's an angel. We are saying there is a likelihood of ill will from the president to those who never supported him, or the deputy, or his government, such that everybody should be served fairly and have an equal opportunity as the other. So let's share all the roads equally. Let's share all the development equally. Let's share the dams equally, because those are the things Kenyans tend to be denied. Electricity is not everywhere in the country.
Okay.
So we need all the villages to have the last mile. Not some villages have, others don't have. Of course, everybody cannot get electricity overnight, but there should be an effort to show that electricity is on its way, like mapping, survey, and the presence of people of rare in every primary school in Kenya. Some have, others don't have. And that's why some cannot use computers. And now the world has changed. It is a world of technology. We want every child in Kenya to access electricity so that they can access a computer, so that they can also be computer literate. And most of the new education system is learned. There's a portal. Now, how does a teacher in a village in a school without electricity access the portal? And the whole village has no electricity, no solar, nothing. When it is at night, some of the villages still use paraffin. So we need to bring all Kenyans to a same level. And I believe that ill will should not be applied on any village, simply because they never voted for the president.
I think we have so much work to do in checking the promises that were made by both the Azimio team and Kenya Kwanza and how they'll be implemented across the country. But also the question of technology, we are 10 years late. Remember that promise in 2013 about laptops? Well, there was a version of it that was implemented, but not as had been espoused. I see a quote from your governor who said that he had spoken to you, that is Mutula Jr., that we must take our country into leadership. We are done with always being the ones casting stones. I don't know what that means.
Well, we attended a funeral in Mboni with my governor, Mutula Kilonzo Jr., one of the personal assistants of the honorable member of Mboni had passed on suddenly. And we went there, and he talked about the court case, that in his opinion, he thought it would not go anywhere. There was very little time to prepare for that particular case, and what was used was technology. That is the truth. And if you talk to some of, people who understand technology, they will tell you how it was done. But that never came to court as it was supposed to be, although a lot of effort was made. I still feel that the court did things out of the ordinary. There was a little bit of ill will, especially if you look at their language. If you look at the language used, a young lawyer like Julie Soweto should not be told whatever she was presenting was hot air. The courts never use such language. No. Yeah. It is discouraging. No. It looked like the court was already preconditioned politically. And that's where Mutula Kilonzo tells me, when I read the mood of the court, the mood of the country, everybody was in the mood of, in the past, we ruled against the country. We went into a bigger loss in a repeat election, and you people never participated in the election. So there was a likelihood of causing confusion and not participating in the election because a few things had not been put into what we think. And I think that's the future Mutula Kilonzo was referring to. In the future, there's no need to go and do a case where you know the answer, because of the prevailing situation.
Wakili, I saw you in court. Please, let's get into custody.
I was in court, yes.
Because the court is not here to defend itself.
Yes.
I think what Wakili is saying...
That language used has never been used by any court in the world.
I'm not going to the language.
Let's leave that conversation and focus on the transition.
Which is a part of the transition.
Yes.
I am not going to the language. I had no issue with leave the language alone. But I think as Kenyans, one of the things we must start respecting also is when you have been given an opportunity and you leave people who have done everything to make sure it works. And I think that's what Senator is saying. You need to do it. Because when you go back, you have already instilled in me fear that if I did this that time, what is going to happen to me? And I think it was very clear with the court that, look, everything you're talking about, we gave you at that time, but you left everything again the same way. So even if we give you now, and it's the same team, what is different? I'm telling you. And so we must heal as Kenyans, but learn lessons that there are things. Let us not, and what did I say? For 10 years, this thing of using people, you dump garbage in, garbage out, stop. Because you'll need them at one point. And always remember, you are coming in, I have a period, I will exit. I will still be in Kenya. I will need Kenyans. They will have to take. So when you go in, let power not go into your head and you forget, first of all, you're a Kenyan and everyone is a Kenyan. Live within the oath that you have taken and know very well you need everyone.
Okay.
You need the person, I always say, always check when you are there. If you have a security person, you have your nanny, everyone is very important in the dots of your life. And so, learn to just live within. And if you cannot agree and you disagree, there is a better way of just moving and making sure those paths do not come one day to find you and you wonder, what am I going to do next? Because that same person who I garbaged in out is now there and I need him or need her to take me to this level.
Well, I want us to conclude this conversation by reflecting a little bit, because President Kenyatta has just over 26 hours to be president, because by 10 a.m. tomorrow, President-elect William Ruto can be sworn in. How will you remember President Kenyatta?
You see, one thing I will say, and whether Kenyans like him or hate him, yes, he has a good heart. A very, very interesting man from a community where, very interesting, but has a heart. But then, this heart, which we say is good, has cost him all what he's going through. Because when also you have too much trust, you trust too much, but those who you have trusted do not have the will of seeing the good things you're thinking about. It's the biggest challenge.
Please break it down for me.
I will break it down this way. In 2013, you come in, you work very well, but because, and I think all presidents have had that challenge kidogo, but this one was even more, because you come, you have trust in terms of, I trust Senator, I trust Elachi, I trust Sami, I trust many. But then I've realized also each one of us also come in, and even in the next administration, we'll have such people. For them, they are coming in, their main goal is, I have come in, there's a way I will make money, I need to make this money and become this. Now that is the biggest challenge of every presidency. Every presidency. And so, listening also is good. As I said, listening. And even if somebody tells you something and the other person comes and tells you, try and evaluate everything and do your own assessment. I think that is one thing our president never did. Because when he trusted, he would feel, unaleta fitina. And so, I don't want this fitina. But then, after that, following through was also an issue.
Okay.
I would say this, and I know it is good also once in a while, as a president, once in a while, just walk into somewhere and listen to people, without having too many people blocking. Those who are blocking you are the ones who have already done wrong things and they don't want you to know. And they will come and present to you a document, and you are reading this document, and they will tell you, if you are not good enough to say, I have listened to this, can I now ask a few others behind? Because I know they are the ones who have presented this. You will find yourself with very interesting scenarios, and then you evaluate. So have time.
You sound as if you're suggesting that
have time for
Kenyatta may have been misled by...
Many. Oh, I tell him today, yes, very misled. Very misled. And I'm saying it from my heart. Because there are many things. But because many people, you will find, you are not worthy to. The problem, this one, if he goes there, she will just say as it is. Don't allow, don't even. Make sure there are many barriers. Make sure you are even told you are the bad one, you have done this, you have wronged this, you have wronged this. By the time you are coming to listen to the stories, you are like, where is this now?
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah.
For me, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta did very well to hold the country together despite a very serious political challenge. He went into the handshake as is part of the requirement of the Constitution for him to hold the country together. So he used the handshake to hold the country together. I think he's done very well as a president. You can see the infrastructure in the country. The traffic jams which were here, they are no longer there, and he has really made sure there were no delays on these projects that we have seen before in the past. But concluding on what I was saying, Kenyans should not fear to go to the Supreme Court when they feel that the election has not been conducted properly, out of history or being mishandled. And also the court was also mishandled when it ruled, it ruled in favor of not in favor of government. What befell the Chief Justice then, Maraga, was also not fair by the system. So the judges should feel free, Kenyans should feel free. But as I've said, if you see the test in an election petition is whether there are mistakes a lot enough to change the will of the people. And that's what the court should be finding. And even if you find I've presented a case and it is not sufficient enough, although I can show you the mistakes, but in your opinion, it's not, because there's no perfect election, it's not enough to warrant overturning or changing it, then don't chastise me. Because how do I face you in future? I'm a young advocate. Why destroy my future? Why destroy my career? I think the language should be improved in the final judgment they are going to give.
Okay.
And it's also good for somebody to tell them that, because as a legislator, that's one of my roles. And that's the reason from the beginning and from reading the mood of the country and the mood of the judges, my good friend, Governor Mutula Kilonzo, thought it would be an exercise in futility with this sort of set of history and the scenario. He didn't mean anything bad of it. And we also want goodwill, not ill will from the courts, goodwill, not ill will from the government, and goodwill from Kenyans, so that we'll build our nation. And that the courts are respected, the executive is respected, the legislature is respected, and the Kenyans are respected. They are the ones we are all serving. Because, the supremacy and the power of the people is what reigns us, not the servants who have been put there by the Constitution.
But just to add on and just say, President Kenyatta goes down in history as one person who leaves Kenya and has removed something called election violence. You like him, you hate him, he was smart enough to ensure both sides, where we have very strong protagonists. We'll have to have all the country. You have Kikuyus on this side, you have Kikuyus on this side, you have every tribe on this side. But he has left history. And so no any other president should ever take us to election violence. May he go with the same peace he has left us, and may he live in peace and have now the authority to do anything like any other Kenyan. But more importantly, we want to respect him for that. And so even for our next administration, it is not easy when you hear people say they have done handshakes. It's not easy, but it is for the sake of something. That handshake has taken us to an election where no young Kenyan, no police bullet has gone to any Kenyan.
All right. Very interesting perspectives on the transition they are just about to witness, and of course how the two will remember President Kenyatta. On this is the Standard. On the Standard, you will see that leaders laud Uhuru for infrastructure development and uniting the country. This is on page 2. Aden Duale faults Uhuru for disregarding court orders and frustrating his deputy. And you see a coverage of the several areas, including infrastructure, health, regional peace, jobs created, the public debt, of course, having grown from 1.79 trillion shillings in 2013 to 8.47 trillion, and also some key taxes that were introduced under President Kenyatta's regime. I want us to take a look at the feedback that has been coming to us. Okello Mwalimu is saying that it's true that CDF has benefited many children from humble background. It's also true that some legislators have misused CDF by micromanaging the committees. If MPs or senators are serious about helping the poor, they should prioritize Ward Development Fund. But then again, the Supreme Court has said that legislators do not necessarily have any role in service delivery. Engineer Lazaro, in fact, some MPs have done wonders in their constituency with the little CDF funds. CDF shouldn't totally be abolished. I am Kaka Edu. NGCDF helped in developing our constituencies, especially the education of our children. There's need for this to be reconsidered by the Judiciary and the 13th Parliament, though some misappropriated the kitty. Tough measures should be put in place to check against that. Anthony Khan, taking oath of office in the name of the Lord is making a vow to God. Ecclesiastes 5:4. When you vow a vow to God, do not delay paying it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. Our leaders to note this. That's a good education. Isaac Muthusi, William Samoei Ruto is obvious a proactive president. Look, he has already promised nice fertilizer. What is nice fertilizer? And unga prices. Even before he is inaugurated, Mwananchi is likely to perform extraordinary. Anthony Khan again. Kenyans are silently divided right in the middle. The concept of the winner takes it all instills fear in the regions that did not vote the presidency, being not sure whether development will equally reach them or not. And those are the views of Kenyans. And I think you are the members of parliament here. There's still some work that needs to be done in terms of civic education, so that people realize that your party or your candidate doesn't have to win the presidency for you to feel that you're represented. If anything, below that, there are some 5 positions: the governor, senator, woman representative, member of National Assembly, as well as the county MCA. And all these are representatives in some form. Thank you both, Senator Manzo and Honorable Beatrice Elachi, for making time for us. We had invited Senator Boni Khalwale from Kakamega. Unfortunately, he hasn't made it, but we'll reach out and see what was the challenge. But that's our time here as we continue with the coverage of Kenya's Choice, just about 26 hours or so before the baton passes tomorrow, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. when William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua must take the oath of office as president and as deputy president, respectively. My name is Sam Gituku. See you some other time. Bye for now.